Hello again, everyone. This is Jim here with another Beating Obesity update. This is a topic that I thought, my topic today is loose or excess skin. This is a video that I never imagined I would be making because I've kind of stayed away from this topic. But as time goes on, I realize it's basically the number one question that I get that people want to know about. And I try to answer it every single time, and I'm kind of tired of answering it. So I'm going to make this video, and in the future, anybody asks me a question about loose or excess skin, I'm just going to send them the link to this video, and hopefully that'll answer it. Before I get into the skin topic, though, I just want to bring up one thing. I want to solicit for comments of any of you. What I'm thinking about maybe doing a live Q&A. I see a lot of people, a lot of channels doing a live Q&A, and it looks sort of fun. And I'm kind of comfortable just answering questions also, and I know people ask a lot of questions, so I'm considering doing it. Let me know if you think it's a good idea, if it's something that you think would be interesting, and if so, I'll figure out how to do it. I'm not sure how you go about setting something like that up, but anyway, I'm seeing some other channels that do it, and it looks pretty fun. So give me your thoughts and feedback on a live Q&A, and maybe I'll consider that in the future. Just over and over and over, people, how do you deal? Did you have to deal with loose skin? Do you have loose skin? What do you do about it? Everybody's obsessed with it, seems like. And yeah, I get it. I get why, people are thinking about it. I mean, I admit in the beginning, I thought about it too, because, you're starting your weight loss journey, and you picture mentally, what you're going to look like. You want to get back to that perfect body you used to have when you were 18, or you're looking online for photos, and you're thinking, hey, I'm gonna look like this ideal shape or something like this. And then you hear people talking about excess skin, and then you see other pictures like this, or like this, and you think, oh my God, that's not what I have in mind. What do I do? And you start to get nervous about it. But first of all, I just want to say my main advice to anybody is, if you are really hung up about having any loose or excess skin, do not get heavy in the first place, because that's just goes with the territory. Loose skin is not a health issue. I mean, it's a vanity issue. Being overweight is a health issue. It's a major health issue. So let's keep our priorities straight. Focus on losing your weight, and I'll give my opinion on the loose skin. As far as, is there anything you can do about it? I know that's kind of what people want to know, and they want to know, do I have loose skin? And I'll give my personal experience here. Skin is an organ. It's only about 1 millimeter thick, and that's when you're young. And it's elastic. It can stretch and then go back to its original shape. Unfortunately, as we age, we lose some elasticity. So age is a factor in whether or not you're going to have a loose skin. Another factor is how much you've stretched your skin, meaning basically how big you are, how much extra fat you had, how much stretching you did, and how long you were stretched out. So the duration of your period of being overweight, and how far you were overweight, and your age. These are in my mind, the biggest factors. And probably each person, probably your personal skin condition. I mean, probably we're not all born with the same skin type or skin condition. Probably there are people with excellent skin, very elastic, and others that just have a tough time with it. So that, it'll vary by individual. But basically what I want to say is, if you're young and you see this, if you look around, you'll see young folks, tremendous weight loss stories, and they recover and it almost looks like nothing ever happened. They get their skin back. But let's say they only carried it a short amount of time, maybe a few years, that maybe less. They ballooned up, got serious, lost the weight, and they look like there's no loose skin at all. That can happen. For many of us that got very large and carried it for years and decades even, it's not quite the same. Most of us are going to have to deal with some loose skin. My personal situation, I have loose skin. I went from 350 down to, I weigh 165 now. And I did this all in my mid to late 50s. And my skin was stretched for a long time. So I do have loose skin. Now, I'm pretty modest. I'm not one of these people that will post photos of myself. There are a lot of people that do that. Yeah, here's my loose skin, and they show it. I'm just, I'm not that kind of guy. Although I have to say, last summer I posted a picture of myself when I went to the beach in Miami. And later on I noticed that, oh my gosh, there's actually, if you look closely, you can kind of see the loose skin or how it hangs. And I thought, well, nobody's going to look that close. But if you really want to see some of, evidence of loose skin on me, dig up that video, whichever one it was. I'm not going to link to it. But, there are people, I give them credit. There's people that are real out there up front with it. And show their loose skin. The thing about it is, one thing I want to say is, people talk about loose skin. Now, remember I said skin is like 1 millimeter thick. A lot of people think that they're only dealing with loose skin when really there's still fat underneath that skin. Loose skin, it tends to look like wrinkles. In fact, the wrinkles in your face that just come from normal aging are from skin getting less elastic, and it just forms wrinkles. It kind of hangs and makes a wrinkle. It's just part of aging for most people. And that's what it looks like in most cases. In my case, like the places where the loose skin is the worst are like under the arms, upper thighs, inner thighs, and the belly, of course. The belly is where I think the fat usually begins first in our belly. The excess fat is stored in the belly. And then I believe that's the last fat that you get rid of. It sort of goes in reverse order, first in is the last out. So our bellies kind of retain the fat. Now, on me personally, like upper arms and in the thighs, it's just down to wrinkles, it's just like wrinkly skin. And it's just what it is. There's some amount of wrinkling there. And I don't know what I could do about it. There's probably nothing I can do about it. Now, even on my stomach though, in my midsection, there's still, under the skin, there's remaining, you can kind of grab on, there's some remaining fat there. That's why I'm vigilant about staying lean, and I still, I don't do any splurges or whatever. I'm trying to minimize and reduce my body fat percentage, because around the midsection it still tends to cling there. Many times I see these stories, people put up their photos or videos, and there are some, there are people that lose hundreds and hundreds of pounds that, it's a massive problem, the loose skin. Literally just hanging off like a bodysuit. And for those people, surgery is probably an option if they've conquered their diet. The skin surgery. A lot of those people have had the gastric surgery in order to lose the weight, but then the skin surgery, skin removal, is also kind of necessary, or else you really don't have a chance to have somewhat of a normal life. It's that bad. Now, I personally don't have that, and I believe maybe there's a couple of reasons. Okay, I lost about 188 pounds. It's a lot, but I think, my situation, I think, is better than normal. I look around and I see other people dealing with loose skin. My situation, I think I'm in pretty good shape, all things considered, with my age, like I said, the amount of weight I lost. And the only thing I can attribute it to, I can come up with a couple. Number one, that I employed fasting all along. I started with fasting. I did a lot of fasting. I still eat one meal a day. So I believe that the fasting, the autophagy that comes with the fasting, helped to recycle dead or useless skin. And my body just naturally consumed it and got rid of it as it became, unneeded or unnecessary. I've seen this theory posted. People have talked about it, how fasting reduces it. I'm not entirely positive that had any effect. I just know, I only did this once, and I'm just giving my opinion that there could be some validity to that. The other thing that I noticed last summer is that, again, I went out and started getting a lot of sun last summer, and I've spoken about this before, that I enjoy the sun now, and I did a lot of tanning and a lot of going to the beach and getting full sun exposure last year. I really enjoyed that. And as I did that, it seemed to, I noticed an effect on the skin, not only darkening, but it seemed to be like the areas where I have like really damaged the skin with stretch marks and like scars from the stretching. Those kind of shrunk up and became less visible. It seemed like the sunlight contributed to that. Again, I'm not 100% positive, because it's something you can't really measure it. It's just something you can you're kind of going by feel, or it just seemed like my skin was repaired to some extent by the sunlight. So from my viewpoint, those are the only two things I think maybe are why I don't have a huge skin issue. And let me just say, excess skin, it can be concealed. It's relatively easy to conceal, whereas being overweight isn't. You can't conceal that. So I'm just going back to the, when I opened up saying, people need to focus on losing your weight and getting healthy, and not so much on the loose skin, because first of all, there's not that much you can do about it, and second of all, it's more a vanity issue, and I get that, but you got to be who you are. If you are overweight and need to become thin and lose the weight, there's probably a good chance there's going to be some remaining evidence of that journey. And let's face it, we have evidence. Aging is a journey, and there's evidence, in our hair and our skin of natural aging, even regardless of how you maintain your weight all your life. So just as you go through life, your body kind of tells a story, and having some wrinkles or some loose skin, okay, that's part of your story. We can try to mitigate it the best we can, but ultimately I think there's not a whole lot you can do about it. I see different claims, different, people talking about brushes and vitamins, supplements, take this herb or that drink. I don't have a lot of faith in any of that having I don't think there's a whole lot you can do about it. Like I said, skin is skin, it's stretched, it's damaged, it's no longer elastic. I don't know how it's going to go back to its original shape. I use the analogy, and I think this holds. Take a balloon, blow it up to maximum size, hold it for 30 seconds, let it go. What happens? It goes back to original size, and you can't see any evidence that it was ever blown up. Blow it up to maximum size, tie a knot in it, and then let it sit for a couple weeks. Untie the knot, what happens? Suddenly it's large and floppy, and the balloon is misshapen, okay? It is no longer elastic. This is the kind of, I think skin is the same way. It has some elasticity, but you can exceed the limits that it was designed for. Just to answer the question, yes, I have loose skin. I think anybody who loses the amount of weight that I did is going to have some loose skin. How do I deal with it? I don't really deal with it. I tend to wear tighter clothes so that it sort of, doesn't have room to, to show or to, flop around anything that's loose. You try to stay tight. Don't get fat in the first place. That's my main advice, because there's really no going back. I mean, once you're stretched out, hey, you're going to have to deal with it. So if you're really that concerned about skin, don't get overweight in the first place. And for heaven's sake, don't let that derail your weight loss efforts. I mean, go for it. Yeah, just get healthy, start eating right, lose weight, get in shape. Okay, the skin will do what it's going to do. But you'll be much, much better off for it. It's a vanity issue. The only thing I can say as a recommendation would be maybe that fasting and intermittent fasting, like I've done, the longer fast and the 1 meal a day, that may have been in my favor and why I have a lesser amount of skin to deal with. Not positive, but it could be. That might be something you want to incorporate. And sunlight, I don't know. We'll see how it goes this year. I'm going to pay more attention to that, and I'm going to have a full year of sun exposure this summer, if it ever gets here. And we'll see if there's any more progress on that front by getting more sunlight. I don't know. I mean, the sunlight seems to just stimulate everything up. Your mind, your body, healing, and certainly for skin, I think it is a wonderful thing to do. So, yeah, I think that's about it today. That I've said enough on it. I just want to get it out there. Yes. Skin is an issue. I don't deal with it per se. I don't have a specific excess skin plan. It is what it is. Life goes on. And I'm happy to have, my current body size and shape. And yeah, it's not perfect, but it doesn't bother me at all. So I'm going to move on now and just cap this video off and try not to go too long. Again, give me comments regarding the live Q&A, going back to what I said in the beginning. I might try that. I'm comfortable in the format where people are asking questions. Sometimes I'm not so good on just speaking to a script or sticking to a train of thought, but people ask me questions that kind of, I find that stimulating and could be interesting. So if there's sufficient interest in that, we'll give that a crack. Thanks for everyone who watches and subscribed and comments. I appreciate that. And I know it's still, I'm still getting, seems like about 100 new subscribers every week or so, and that's fantastic. So the message is getting out and the interest is there. If you've got any other comments or suggestions for future videos, let me know. Okay, signing off. This is Jim. Thanks everyone, and see you next time.